Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a big video on our hands because it's time for the Europa Conference League final, a competition that Chelsea will be playing in next season. So, you know, this time next year we might be talking about Chelsea in that final. It was meant to be Newcastle, but United did something very nice on Saturday and won the FA Cup. So it means United have Europa League and now Chelsea in Conference League. But right now the Conference League final, which we all thought would be Villa in the final, but Olympiacos had other things to say about it. And I said Villa will have a tough time because Olympiacos want a home final. It's not exactly home final, but the final's in Athens. It's at their rival stadium, AEK Athens, actually. So it's not as fierce as the Panathinaikos rivalry, but it's still fierce rivalry. And for them to win a major trophy in their rival's back garden, that's exactly what they want to do. That is exactly what they want to do, really, isn't it? So let's get into it. Let's talk about both teams that we did for the Europa League, and we're going to start with talking about Olympiacos and their season so far. They finished third in the Greek Super League. Second stage, they finished fourth, I think, in the first stage, but third in the second stage, which isn't a bad season for them, but it means it wasn't a great season either because they've not won a trophy yet. Going into their league record, they'd played 23, drew 5, and no, they've won 23, drew 5, lost 8. So they've not lost a lot of games. They've been very well structured, but the other teams have been better than them. Their key players for the season have been Horta, Rodinei, Podence and El Kaabe. El Kaabe scoring some of the goals that helped them get to the final there. Podence, you know, obviously a former Wolves player. I think that's the player that most people will be most familiar with. And Horta on loan from Braga in the team as well. And their whole season record has been 34, 9 and 13. So they know how to get a win. They certainly know how to get a win. And their route to the final has consisted of, in the group, actually, they were in the Europa League. So they got knocked down. They were originally in the Europa League, which won't be happening next year. They'll be staying in the same competition. There's no one getting knocked down into it. So lost to Freiburg, then drawing with Topolo, which is a game that if they would have won, they might have had a chance of staying in the Europa League. They beat West Ham 2-1 and lost to West Ham 1-0, then lost to Freiburg 5-0 and then beat Topolo 5-2. So, you know, winning 1, drawing 1, no, winning 2, drawing 1, but not enough because they lost 3 and they got knocked down into the Conference League where, as you can see, they flourished. They've had a good time. They beat Fiorentina 1-0 each side. Got actually beat at home by Maccabi Tel Aviv 4-1, but then in the away game in Israel 6-1 they won the game away, which is crazy game to win away, and that's where the competition kind of turned around because went to penalties against Fenerbahce after a 3-2 win, then a 1-0 loss. It went to a 3-0 penalties and they won on penalties, and then they went to Villa Park and won 4-2 at Villa Park, so they knew how to get an away win, and then a 2-0 nice win against Villa at home. They have earned their way to this final. They have fought their way to this final, and you know, people obviously will be putting Fiorentina as the favourites, but I honestly believe that Olympiacos will be the favourites to win this competition. Now that we've got down to the final two, on to Fiorentina. And Fiorentina, their league position has been a lot lower than Olympiacos. They finished 8th. They've been 8th. They got no Europe right now, but they could get Europe. They could have 8 teams in Europe next season. Their season record has been pretty abysmal as well. Only winning 15, drawing 9 and losing 12. So they do know how to hold a loss. It's not looking good for them going into the final. They was in last year's Conference League final, and now they're in this year's. And you know, if things don't change around for them, they might lose 2 in a row. Bonaventura, Arthur, Gonzalez, and Mandragora are the key players for Fiorentina. I think obviously Bonaventura is probably the one that you're probably most familiar with. Or Arthur, you know, former Liverpool player. People will be very familiar with him. And in the season record, 23, 17 and 15. So apart from in the league, they only lost 3 games outside of the league, which will obviously be in the Cup and in the Conference League, which you're going to see now. And the road to the final that they made was 2-2 versus Genk, 2-2 versus Fenerbahce, so you saw Olympiacos play just then and beat them both times, 6-0 versus Kukaraki, and 1-0 versus Kukaraki, 2-1 versus Genk, and a 1-1 versus Fenerbahce. So, as you can see, they struggled against Fenerbahce, but Fenerbahce were easily walked over by Olympiacos. So, if you judge it off that, yeah, they both played Israeli teams, with Fiorentina playing Maccabi Haifa, winning with a bit more assurances because they didn't lose either of the games. They didn't lose 4-1 in either of the games. They won 4-3 and then drew 1-1. So no major loss there for them. 0-0 versus Victoria Pleasant and 2-0 versus Victoria Pleasant. And then 3-2 versus Club Brugge, 1-0 versus Club Brugge. If you're looking at this, what now you can see is they've not lost a game in the Conference League this year. And are they going to be looking to lose their first one in the final? I mean, we saw Xabi Alonso, his streak end last week with that 1-0 loss. No, 1-0 loss. That first loss is what I meant to say. The number was in my head when I say first loss of the season in a 3-0 loss thanks to Adam Luckman scoring the hat-trick, which I spoke about last week. But can it end here for Fiorentina? Will it end here for Fiorentina again? Obviously West Ham beat them last year. Now it's Olympiacos. We'll get onto that in a second. We will get onto that in a second because right now we're going to have to talk about how the teams are lining up, and I'm going to absolutely put the formation onto the pitch right now. Based off of how they were playing in their later stage games of the competition so far, with Olympiacos being the red circles and Fiorentina being the blue triangles. Fiorentina are very structured in the back, but a bit more free-flowing in how they can attack. We're finding spaces in between, with Bonaventura being in the team, he's being a key player. They've obviously Bellotti up front, but they do rotate between a few different strikers. But since getting him on loan in January, Bellotti has been more of a mainstay in the strike. Despite not scoring many goals, he just provides a lot for the team with his build-up play. Olympiacos, however, are just very structured. They were so structured and well disciplined during their game against Aston Villa. For those of you that watched it, they will take on the man for man, which will leave a lot of space in behind. But it means, these spaces can get occupied. These players can get occupied by, these players that need to, and it leaves these back four to focus on cover rather than full defence, and then just leave Bellotti to try and get in the space in between. Because Olympiacos will give them a right tough time, and they really know how to score a goal. They know how to get on that counter attack and get up the pitch quick. So as soon as the likes of Dodo go up the pitch from fullback, then the space will get in behind. The ball gets played around quick, and bang, free, and they don't know what to do. They go close, go far, drag you away, but then there's always gonna be a free man because they counter attack really well. They do counter attack really well. It's structured until they need to be not structured, is what you're going to see from Olympiacos, which is how you should be playing football. It's a good team to watch right now. Not much more on that. Obviously, I'm not an expert on Olympiacos due to it being in the Greek League. I actually did go to the stadium this year, so if you can see that just behind me over there is a little scarf that I got from when we went to the stadium. But on to the final bit of the video now, and that is who I think the winner is going to be. And I think the winner of this tie, I picked him off my video, it's Olympiacos. I think Olympiacos are going to win it. We're currently 1 for 1 on these final prediction videos. We didn't get the Leverkusen one wrong, but we got the United one right. So we'll see if Olympiacos can get hold any luck and get a result here and win a European trophy, which would be massive for them. But yeah, that is the end of this video now, guys. I do thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Cheers.